Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're going deep into the world of metabolic health.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff, actually. We're looking at this book, Good Energy, by Dr. Casey Means,
Okay.
and it really kind of turns everything we think we know about health and wellness on its head.
How so?
Well, the basic premise is that so many conditions, things you wouldn't even think were related,
Right.
like depression, heart disease, even cancer, might actually all be linked back to one thing:
Wow. Okay, I'm intrigued. What's this one thing?
the way our cells make and use energy, our metabolism.
Oh, interesting. So it's all about metabolism.
Yeah, exactly. Dr. Means calls it good energy when it's working right.
Good energy. I like the sound of that, but what does it really mean?
Honestly, at first I was kind of thinking, like, is this some new age thing?
Right.
But the more I read, the more I realized it's actually based on solid science.
Okay.
So basically, good energy means your cells are like a well-oiled machine,
Yeah.
taking the fuel from the food we eat and converting it efficiently into energy that powers everything we do.
Makes sense. So what happens when we don't have that good energy?
That's where things get interesting. That's when Dr. Means says all these different health problems can pop up.
You mentioned a pretty wide range of things: depression, heart disease, cancer.
hmm
How could those all be connected to something like metabolism?
I know, right? It seems crazy at first. Like, how could one thing be at the root of so many different problems?
Right.
But the book goes into the science of it all, and it's pretty convincing.
So how does it work? How does bad metabolic function cause all these issues?
Well, one way is through something called oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress. I've heard that term, but honestly, I don't really get it.
Me neither at first.
Oh,
But it's actually not that complicated. Imagine like little attackers called free radicals.
okay.
They're a natural byproduct of, our cells doing their thing.
Right.
And usually our bodies have these defenders, antioxidants, that neutralize them.
So it's like a battle going on inside us.
Exactly. But when our metabolic function is off, it's like we don't have enough defenders. And the
Yes.
attackers, those free radicals, start causing damage to our cells. That's oxidative stress.
Makes sense.
Yes.
And I guess that can lead to all sorts of problems, right?
Yep. And that's not even the whole story. Poor metabolic function can also mess with our hormones,
Ah, okay.
lead to chronic inflammation. It's like a domino effect.
So are you saying that all those conditions you listed, heart disease, Alzheimer's, even cancer, could be linked back to this oxidative stress and inflammation caused by poor metabolism?
That's what Dr. Means argues. And honestly, the science seems to back it up. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
One of the things that really hit home for me was the connection between sleep and metabolic health.
Oh, how so?
Well, I've always been a terrible
I
sleeper.
hear you.
And the book explains that when your cells are already low on energy because of poor metabolic function, it's harder for your body to repair itself overnight.
Ah, that makes sense.
It's like you're running on empty even before you start the day. No wonder I always feel tired.
Exactly. And that can become a vicious cycle. The less sleep you get, the more your metabolism can suffer.
Ugh, it's a good thing this book isn't all doom and gloom.
Right. What's the good news?
Well, Dr. Means says we're not just stuck with whatever metabolic health we've got.
Okay, that's good to hear.
She says we can actually make changes to improve it. It's empowering.
So what can we do? Give us the actionable steps.
Well, diet is a big one, obviously.
I was going to say.
She recommends eating lots of whole foods, fruits, vegetables, healthy fats.
Sounds pretty standard healthy eating advice.
It is, but it's really about giving your cells the best possible fuel so they can function properly.
Right, makes sense.
And then there's exercise.
Of course.
It's like a tune-up for your metabolism, helps your cells use energy more efficiently.
Got it. So eat well, exercise, anything else?
Stress management is huge too.
Stress, always the culprit.
Right. But it makes sense. Chronic stress messes with our hormones and throws everything off balance.
So how do we manage stress? It's easier said than done.
I know, right? But Dr. Means suggests things like mindfulness, spending time in nature, connecting with people you love, just finding what works for you.
Good advice. But what about those of us who are already feeling the effects of poor metabolic health? How do we know if we're having issues?
That's a great question. And apparently the early warning signs can be really subtle.
Really? Like what?
Things like feeling tired all the time, having trouble concentrating.
I definitely feel that sometimes.
Right. Or maybe you're gaining weight even though you're trying to eat healthy and exercise.
Okay, those are starting to sound familiar. What else?
Digestive issues can be a sign. mood swings, even just craving sugar and processed foods all the time.
Wow, it's kind of scary how easily those things can go unnoticed.
I know. But that's why this book is so important. It's like a wake-up call.
Totally. So what's the main takeaway here? What do we do with all this information?
I think it's about shifting our perspective.
Okay.
Instead of just treating symptoms, we need to be thinking about the root cause.
Right.
Our metabolic health is the foundation for everything else.
I like that. It's about taking control of our health.
Exactly. And realizing that the choices we make every day, they really do matter.
It's empowering.
It is. This whole deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening for me, and I hope it's been the same for our listeners.
Me too. It makes you think, doesn't it?
It totally does. It makes you realize how much power we have to influence our own well-being. And what if, like Dr. Means suggests, we could actually revolutionize healthcare by focusing on metabolic health?
That would be amazing. Preventative medicine rather than reactive.
Exactly. So much potential. Anyway, that's our deep dive on metabolic health, inspired by Dr. Casey Means' good energy. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts, share any resources you find, and keep those conversations going. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep that good energy flowing.
See you next time.